Water scarcity, the catalyst for future wars. Water, the elixir of life, is indispensable to the survival and prosperity of every living being on Earth. As populations swell, industrialization accelerates, and climate change disrupts traditional weather patterns, the world faces an impending crisis of water scarcity. As freshwater resources dwindle, it is not inconceivable to envision a future where conflicts are triggered, fueled, or exacerbated by the struggle for access to this vital resource. In this essay, we will explore the ominous scenario of future wars arising due to water shortages, examining the root causes, potential flashpoints, and the urgent need for global cooperation to mitigate this impending crisis. The looming crisis, causes and consequences. Population growth. The global population continues to expand, leading to increased demand for water for agriculture, drinking, sanitation, and industrial processes. This rising demand places immense pressure on already strained water resources. Climate change. Climate change disrupts traditional precipitation patterns, leading to prolonged droughts and erratic rainfall. This exacerbates water scarcity in regions already prone to aridity. Overextraction, overexploitation of freshwater sources through unsustainable agricultural practices and excessive groundwater pumping further depletes available water reservoirs. Geopolitical tensions. Scarce water resources exacerbate existing geopolitical tensions, making regions prone to conflicts even more volatile. Migration and displacement. Water scarcity can force communities to migrate, leading to conflicts over limited resources and triggering humanitarian crises. Potential flashpoints. Transboundary rivers. Many rivers flow across international borders, making them potential sources of tension. The Nile, Mekong, and Indus rivers have all witnessed disputes over water allocation. Competition for groundwater. Underground aquifers, which provide a significant source of freshwater, are vulnerable to overextraction. Conflicts may arise as countries vie for access to shared aquifers. Water infrastructure targets. As water becomes scarcer, essential infrastructure like dams, reservoirs, and water treatment facilities may become strategic targets in conflicts. Water as a weapon. The use of water as a weapon, such as diverting or contaminating water supplies, could become a tool of warfare, further intensifying conflicts. Refugee crises. Water scarcity can lead to mass migration and displacement of populations, creating refugee crises in destabilizing regions. The need for global cooperation. Diplomacy. Diplomatic channels must be actively pursued to resolve water-related disputes peacefully. International organizations, such as the United Nations, can facilitate negotiations and mediate conflicts. Sharing best practices. Countries with successful water management strategies can share their knowledge and expertise with regions facing scarcity. Sustainable practices. Encouraging sustainable agricultural practices, responsible water use in industries, and conservation efforts is critical to preserving water resources. Climate mitigation. Addressing climate change is paramount to reducing the frequency and severity of droughts and other extreme weather events that exacerbate water scarcity. International agreements. Formal treaties and agreements on water sharing can help prevent conflicts and promote equitable resource allocation. In conclusion, the specter of future wars arising from water shortages looms ominously on the horizon. As our planet faces a growing water crisis driven by population growth, climate change, and unsustainable practices, the competition for dwindling freshwater resources becomes increasingly fierce. To avert such a catastrophic future, global cooperation and proactive measures are imperative. Diplomacy, sustainable practices, climate mitigation, and international agreements must take precedence in our efforts to safeguard the world's most vital resource. By addressing water scarcity as a global challenge that transcends borders and ideologies, we can collectively work towards a future where water is a source of unity rather than conflict. The choice is ours to make, and the time to act is now. While oil has historically been the focal point of global conflicts, the 21st century brings with it a shifting landscape where water scarcity emerges as the new geopolitical flashpoint. With its fundamental role in sustaining life and economies, competition for access to freshwater sources has the potential to trigger future wars and humanitarian crises. To avert this perilous future, nations must prioritize international cooperation, diplomacy, and sustainable resource management. The choice between conflict and collaboration over water resources will be one of the defining challenges of our time, and the stakes are nothing less than the security and well-being of our planet.